Today we're pruning a fig on Pots and Trowels, and that's brought to you with the support of Cobra Garden and Darlac. Hello and welcome to Pots and Trowels. Well, we've come to a friend's polytunnel today to have a look at this fig tree that is doing really well. It's probably growing too big because it's starting to push the polythene. So we've been asked if we'll have a look at it and just do a little bit of pruning and talk about the principles of how you would prune a fig. You can grow figs in various ways. One way, if you're growing them outside, it's a good idea to grow them against a south or west facing wall where you can actually fan them out and they get the warmth from the warm wall, and then they will ripen. And especially if you grow varieties like brown turkey, they're probably one of the hardiest. The other way is to grow it like this one, and this is just grown as a sort of a bush, as a shrub type fig. This one isn't brown turkey, this is one of the sort of paler ones. We don't know which one it is, and these do need a little bit more warmth. They've got a slightly different leaf shape, which is the telltale sign, so these are better under cover, exactly as this is growing in here, but it's made a lot of growth. So what we're going to try and do is just prune it down a little bit, but without losing too many of the figs, because if we look here, we can see that because this has got the protection of this polytunnel, the figs are actually growing quite well. These will have been the little embryo figs that will have been formed last autumn and overwintered in this polytunnel, and now of course it's getting warmer. Here we are sort of getting well on into April. These will start and grow and produce a crop, and very often in these warm conditions you can get two crops of figs, the ones that overwintered, and then they will follow on in this new growth. You'll get a few more growth. So looks like there's going to be quite a few. So the challenge is for me to try and tame this a little bit and encourage some lower growth without losing too many of the existing figs. And what I want to try and do is to take out some of the stronger growth that's pushing the polythene, and then encourage more growth from the base, so that over a period of 2 or 3 years it can be reduced in height, and instead of being quite as tall and wide and spreading, it will be more compact, and then it's easier to manage. So I'm going to just have a wander around it, have a look, get it into my head what I'm going to prune, then I'll show you what I'm going to do. Right, well the first thing I want to do is if there's any dead wood in this, which there's a dead stem here. So what I will do is take these little dead stumps out. There's one there, and then this one just here. So that's something we do on everything that we're going to prune. And then if I look at this one here, because this one is branching quite nicely, so this is going to need 2 prunes. We're doing this now in April, but maybe June time, when it's made some extension growth, we can actually pinch some of these new ones out and get these to bush out more. But this one here that's growing up, it's got no fruit on it, and it's just going to keep going up. In fact, the top has died out, so I'm going to be quite ruthless with that one. I'm going to prune it back down to here, and you can see all the way down the stem there are lots of buds. So if I prune it to there where there's a dormant bud, you can't see it, but that's where there would have been a leaf. Just going to prune that just above it, nice sharp pair of secateurs and a clean cut. What will happen is now later this season is we'll get nice new growth from lower down, which we can then pinch the tips out later on in the summer. So that will then fill this hole in here and we'll get bushy growth. Just to be warned, they are quite sappy. You get a white sap on them sometimes. I can feel that's just sticky. So if you suffer from allergies, just be a little bit careful. It doesn't seem to bother me. So I'm going to leave that piece as it is. This piece here again, doing exactly the same thing. It's just going to keep growing. So I'm going to prune that quite hard back down there. And again, that will encourage some of these buds here to bush out, and then once that's growing in a year's time, we can then take this one down. So it's all about doing it over 2 or 3 seasons until we get it down. Now something a little bit more drastic when we get to here, because as you can see, these are rubbing against the polythene. It's stunting the growth. There's quite a lot of dead in here, and the figs aren't forming, possibly because it's quite cold next to the polythene. So I'm going to be quite brutal with this one, and I'm going to get the loppers because I don't think I can manage it with the secateurs, and I'm just going to fill, there's some buds there and it will grow, so I'm going to cut that one back to there, nice clean cut, like that. Looks a big piece, ouch. And that will bush that one out. And then likewise, this one going down to the ground is going to do nothing. So we can take that one out completely. Okay, so far, all we've lost is one fig, which is not too bad. Now, that's what to do with this. Again, this is not really doing any favours, and there's no fruit on this, and it is going to rip the polythene. So I'm going to be even more brutal with this one. So this is where you have to close your eyes and not look. So I'm going to get my little saw out. I'm just going to take this one that's in the way, just there. And it's all crossing, as you can see here. This is all crossing and rubbing there. This is such a vigorous one. And if I cut this down to here, then it will send out lovely strong growth from the base, and we won't have this bare stump. So I'm just going to take that one out with the saw. I can't, well, there is a bud there, so just push that little one to the side. They will grow, literally. If I were to cut that off with a chainsaw there, I can guarantee it will grow. So I'm just going to take that one out. It's a big one, but it will make a huge difference to it. And just carefully take that out, and you can see it's grown to the shape of the side of the polytunnel. Just make sure I don't snag it on those little figs there. So what I'm going to do is just work my way around it, doing that as we go, and then come and have a look in a minute. So you can see I've cut a reasonable amount out, but there's not actually that many figs on that. Yes, there's going to be a few, but it means the ones on there will then get a bit more energy, and we hopefully get a second crop. So it doesn't look vastly different, but what I've done is brought it away from the polythene. The non-flowering stems I've cut back all over, so that will encourage some new shoots to grow. And then I've taken one or two bigger ones down harder. So it's a halfway house at this stage. All the dead's gone as well. So once we get that new flush of growth from lower down, as I said, in June time, mid-June to July, they can have the tips pinched out, which will make them branch again and form embryo figs for next year. And then next spring, some of these can be lowered a little bit more as these grow up. So it's over 2 or 3 seasons, we can bring the whole bush down, make it denser, more compact, and lots more figs at this level rather than up there by the polythene. So that's it for now. We'll come back and look at it in the summer and see how it's getting on. Thank you for watching Pots and Trowels, and if you like the videos that we do, don't forget you can follow everything we've done over the last couple of years on YouTube, subscribe for free, and you'll get notifications of all our new videos. Next time we're going to be back in our garden planting a pear tree in a container, so we'll see you then. Bye.